Welcome into football night in South Florida overtime. I'm Emerson Lancia from ESPN 106.3. Monster games filling up our coverage tonight. We've got Ian Hest, Wells Dusenberry along for the ride, breaking down all the action. They're going to join me in just a moment. We'll get things started with our feature game of the evening. Doug Socia leading Oxbridge Academy into a top 5 showdown with the school he won a state championship with just 4 years ago, American Heritage. It's a game that'll most likely decide the District 7 3A championship. These boys were chirping. These boys were jawing. It's time to throw down. Opening quarter, Thunderwolves punting the football. Heritage making a little bit too much out of this return. DJ Davis fumble in the end zone, initially ruled a safety, but it's reversed to a touchdown. Oxbridge up 7-zip. Second quarter, Cameron Smith hits Kanan Dugan over the middle, ruled incomplete, but hold on, the referees, they want to huddle up. And the tribe has spoken. It's a touchdown? Take another look. Does he really have possession of the football? Things that make you go, Tied up at 7. Skip ahead to the 4. T-Wolves facing a 4th and 7. They're going for it. Angelo Navaroli to Trey Green. There's so many you don't even know it, kid. 17-7 the Ox. Less than 2 minutes to play, and it's over, Rock. Trayvon Leonard, pick 6 for Oxbridge. Party time, baby. Oxbridge Academy with its first district win in program history, 24-7.
It's a tremendous job for Oxbridge. It's a great job. It was all about our preparation leading up to it, and that's what it's about. And it's a day-to-day process. And now we're going to start over starting tomorrow for next week. So proud of these guys. Great effort. They hung in there. We played 4 quarters, and we got it done.
A lot of time when we talk about these highlights that we show you, they're often just solely offensive plays, touchdown after touchdown. You saw that one end with a pick 6, and what a defensive effort from Oxbridge tonight. We were looking at the stats. Of the past 3 games, they've allowed only 13 points. 6 points, a shutout, and only 7 tonight. This defense, one of the best around.
Yeah, and this was really the key factor here, facing a very strong American Heritage offense. They're huge up front. They've got an amazing running back in Devin Singletary, but this unit really took over in this game. Heritage really had no room to operate inside in the middle of the defense here, and that was the key. The interior run defense was phenomenal. And you look back for Oxbridge Academy, it's a team that gave up 27 points a few weeks ago in a loss to Carroll City. Since then, just as you mentioned, those 3 games, they've been light out. This defense was swarming to the football tonight. Devin Singletary really had no room to really operate, and they were opportunistic defensively, coming up with a bunch of interceptions, turnovers. That was the key for this team right now, is that the defensive effort, they really held Heritage in check, and that was the key factor going on this team.
Oxbridge Academy joining the FHSAA this year. This is their first ever district contest, so now they're 1-0, undefeated all time in district play, and in a 3-team district, Emerson, they might just have sealed their playoff fate already. We'll send it back over to you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Now to one of the most intense rivalries on the Treasure Coast, South Fork and Martin County. It's Martin Bowl 32. You got bragging rights on the line, but this year saw our district playoff implications. A combined record of 8-1. Oscar the Bulldog looking fired up. He ain't gonna like this though. Martin County's George Johnson to Malachi Thomas, and that's some bang-bang chicken and shrimp. 7-0. Bulldogs start driving. Feeling lucky. On 4th down and 2, it ain't happening because Nick Iman and Joe Turner are strong gentlemen. Turnover on downs. Tigers gonna hand it right back. Second quarter, meow. After the catch, check out the play by Cole Colazzo. Stripping it loose, and the 4th recovers. Feel that momentum shift? Because I do. Ensuing drive, Stone Labanowitz. That's a nice head of hair. It's Walter Thomas. And if we're grading effort, this young man is going to get an A. Laying out, and the pylon takes a beating. But Martin County pitches a shutout in the second half. Tigers get the comeback victory, 21-13. A battle of the unbeatens. Number 9 Boca Raton on the road at 7th-ranked Pahokee. First possession for the Cats, Philip Santiago. He's going to let Prednor Elman do all the work, and probably a good idea to do this more often. Following his blockers downfield, flips on the birders. He gone, 64 yards to the crib, 7-zip Boca. Blue Devils have an answer. It's called MacArthur Burnett. He gets the carry, crashes into the pile. Good enough for 6. We're tied at 7. Second quarter now. Boca lining up for the field goal. Gabe Bravo. And Bravo, young man. He's never heard that before. Bobcats now 5-0 on the year, winning 17-14. Dwyer starting quarterback Toddy Centillo. He's out tonight with a knee injury. but I'm a reporter, and I asked him, how you feeling? He said, I'm going to be back very soon. Eli Matthews filling in for the Panthers, doing just fine. Opening drive, Matthews hooking up with Jakari Moses. And the Lions had a field goal, making it 7-3. On the kickoff, Jordan Mosley fields it, and he's going for speed. Setting up the Panthers with fantastic field position. The junior eventually pulled down at the 17-yard line. We interrupt these highlights to show you a referee with biceps as big as Wells Dusenberry's head. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. And Heights not liking what Dwyer's throwing at him. Matthews to Isaiah Johnson, third-ranked Dwyer cruises 42-13. Now, the good times really got started Thursday night with #1 Atlantic crushing Spanish River 46-7. Running back Shondarius Phillips with another monster night. The Eagles are back in action next week at St. Aloysius. Ian, Wells, boys, still got some undefeated teams going strong, right?
Yeah, we show you those 4 games because all 4 of them involved undefeated teams. South Fork no longer in those ranks, and we've now reached the midway point of this season. Only about half dozen left. There's those like Treasure Coast, Berean Christian. We'll get to Treasure Coast in a little bit later in the show, but there's really 4 near the top here in Atlantic, Dwyer, Boca Raton, and Vero Beach. Of those 4, which is most likely to run the table?
I think probably it's Atlantic at the moment right now. This is a team that the schedule has been, it evens up a little bit heading down the stretch here. They will face Boca Raton in the second to last week of the season, so that will obviously be a big test, and of course, one of those teams will go down there. They do face Dwyer in the final week of the regular season, but those final weeks are non-district matchups, so you never know whether teams are going to play their starters, so it's kind of hard to really assess in terms of that. I really like what Dwyer's doing right now. The district, I think they're going to be able to run through that right now. Royal Palm Beach and West Boca just look a little bit behind right now in terms of that. So, and then Vero Beach, I think, it'll be interesting seeing them going forward here. They're undefeated as well, and that district looks, like Fort Pierce Central, they had a loss tonight. Treasure Coast looks a little bit better, but I think they've got a good chance. But I think it's probably Atlantic and Dwyer, the 2 top ones that have the best chances of running the table and going undefeated this season.
It's amazing to see what Atlantic has done, jumping up to 8A this year. Is that really a testament of what they were building or what they already had that was capable of winning at the 8A level?
I think it's a little bit of both here. This is a team that returned a lot of key starters from last year, so this is a team that was still building. So making that jump, 7A and 8A in terms of the local teams are pretty comparable in terms of the top ones. It may be a little bit different when you get to some of the regional teams. But in terms of that, I think that they were building in terms of this, and it's really paying off now.
There are those 3 teams, like Dews mentioned, Atlantic, Dwyer, Boca Raton. Atlantic will play both of those teams towards the end of the year, Emerson.
And you guys are on top of it tonight. Feels like rivalry week with all of these district showdowns tonight. And here's another one for you. Seminole Ridge at Wellington. Scott Barnwell and the Ridge taking on Wellington. Yeah, final quarter, the Hawks not going down without a fight. Joseph Shergan, get off me, bro, ties the game at 14. A little later, Wellington up 3. Feeling it on 4th down. A lot of teams work tonight. Blake Deaver, scrambled egg, stays on his feet, just dragging dudes. This one's going to be close. And the ref, give it to me. First down. A few plays later, Mark Anthony Richards putting it on ice. Wolverines hang on to win 24-21. Bill Powers and Jupiter taking on Palm Beach Gardens. Late second quarter, special teams being special. Edwin Noyes drilling the field goal. Warriors trail 7-3 at halftime. But the Warriors special teams not so special to start the second half. The punt gets blocked deep in Jupiter territory. Pigskins dancing on the turf. There to pounce on it, Roy Sweeney. Gators knocking on Jupiter's door. 3 plays later, easy peasy touchdown for Hunter Aranda. Gardens wins 21-3. Boys, what other scores you got from tonight?
Probably the biggest upset of the night. We mentioned it earlier. Fort Pierce Central falling to Treasure Coast 21-14. You also see Suncoast in a 3-team district. That's a big district matchup and a win for them. But let's go back to this Treasure Coast Fort Pierce Central game.
Yeah, because that was an unbelievable win, Meow. When you look at what Fort Pierce Central and Treasure Coast was 0-9 last season. They're off to a 4-0 start right now. That's just incredible what Irvin Jones has done right now for this team. And now you look at some of the other ones, Park Vista beating John I. Leonard. Nice win for that program going forward. And then Royal Palm Beach able to hold off a strong up-and-coming Palm Beach Lakes team. They're still looking for their first W, but definitely playing a lot better football now.
You mentioned Royal Palm. They're back to 500. West Boca close now. Both of those are in that District 13 7A with Dwyer. Is it going to come down to those two, Royal Palm and West Boca?
Yeah, I think Dwyer is head and shoulders above everyone else in that district, and I think it's Royal Palm and West Boca. I think Royal Palm has the edge right now. I think they're starting to play a little bit better, but it'll probably come down to those two teams facing off.
I can't mention enough that Treasure Coast win. The Titans 4-0 for the first time in school history. Congratulations up there on the Treasure Coast. Well, that'll do it for us on this edition of Football Night in South Florida Overtime. Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed a wild action tonight. We'll see you right back here as Emerson's dancing each and every week.
Can't stop.
Until then, have a great weekend.
What am I doing?